guys, is the story of a bunch of nuns. Hold on, not regular nuns, but very peculiar nuns. Hello guys, and welcome back to this episode. I hope you're not gonna miss it. Let's delve straight into the matter. We are in 1643, and France is populated by Huguenots, which is a fancy word just to say Protestant. Protestant France. And French people, Huguenots. And so the Catholic Church decided that it's time, to send in this area populated by Huguenots, Catholics. So at the time, the most famous person in charge and the one with the most authority, it's for sure Cardinal Richelieu. And he goes there, well, he doesn't go there. He sends there a priest, and also a new convent for nuns is established. We are in the city of Loudoun. What happens was that it's interesting. What happens is that these nuns are all of them young, and in charge of these nuns there is Jeanne des Anges, born as Jeanne de Beaucier. She's ambitious to the point that at the age of 27 she's running and she's in charge of a bunch of nuns. She also had a minor incident when she was a child that left her limping for the rest of her life. But she was ambitious, so she became the person in charge. And then there was a priest. Sounds like a bad joke, this one. No, but there was a priest named Urbain Grandier, and he was elegant, attractive, sophisticated, eloquent, which was a big deal, right? The popularity of this priest was kind of like unheard of. This priest was so popular that everybody would go to his mass. But with that also came beautiful women, specifically one, Madeleine de Brou. And the priest, even though it belonged to the Catholic Church, and in the Catholic Church as a priest you cannot get married, you cannot have sex, and you cannot do a bunch of other stuff, for instance, get married and continuing your profession, the priest didn't like this part of the Catholicism, I guess, so he decided to get married in a surreal ceremony where he was the priest and the spouse at once. So anyway, he got married with this woman named Madeleine de Brou. He also though liked the daughter of Philippe Trinquant, and he was the prosecutor of Loudun. And I think that she got pregnant or something happened there because they had to sort it out as a marriage of convenience. Now, Philippe Trinquant organized through this ceremony for them to get married. But he also swore revenge. He would get his revenge against the priest. So he attempted the first time. He accused Urbain Grandier of immoral conduct. The priest was arrested and tried, but none acquitted. The reason why he was acquitted is very simple. Because he had made lots of powerful friends, and therefore he was acquitted. So now, let's go back to the nun, specifically to Jeanne des Anges. She wanted Urbain Grandier to become the priest confessor of the nuns. She liked him. He rejected. He declined the offer, said, no thank you. We don't know exactly why that happened. Maybe he didn't want to be involved with the nuns sort of affair. But anyway, he rejected. So the Catholic Church sent another priest, Jean Mignon. Now, the moment Urbain Grandier declined the offer, the nuns, because Jeanne des Anges was ambitious, started to have hallucinations. They would have nocturnal visions, they would see ghosts trespassing the walls, they would hear the noise of chains, black balls, which I don't know even what that means, like in terms of symptom. They would have convulsive crisis. In other words, Jean Mignon, the priest for the nuns now, said, this must be collective hysteria. But this was also very useful for his own plans. The nuns that have collective hysteria, let's try to use it to our advantage. What is number one enemy here to eliminate? I should say, who is? Of course, Urbain Grandier. And so the nuns, specifically Jeanne des Anges, in one of these visions, started to blame Urbain Grandier for being responsible for the conditions of the nuns. She said that since he declined the offer by sending a bouquet of flowers, the nuns, including herself, were all affected by this collective hysteria. So now there was a different accusation running around, and this time was that according to which Urbain Grandier was a wizard. Witchcraft and Catholic Church did not really get along ever, I would say, but specifically this time, specifically in a France that is plagued by corruption with Cardinal Richelieu, with a France that is struggling to keep the Catholic power in power against the Huguenots. And so Grandier had a friend. He had actually many friends, but one in particular was the Archbishop of Bordeaux. And he wanted to make this accusation disappear, and the accusation went away for a little bit. But then some rumors spread in the population, thinking that this was just a charge that had been thrown on him, and it was not fair, stemmed by rumors, by his conduct, and he actually sided with the side of the population that was in favor of his persona and his role as a priest, and that reopened the case. Jeanne des Anges accused the priest of having 5 insensitive areas due to his pact, due to his deal with the devil. And the poor Urbain Grandier was pierced in his flesh in those 5 areas just to prove that there was this pact, this deal with the devil. And his screams were heard literally everywhere. He was tortured. He ended up being tortured, not just through this procedure, but other procedure. Specifically, his legs were totally fragmented, reduced in pieces, basically. He still did not confess to witchcraft. Yet again, when the trial happened, it was almost too late. 3 were the people who accused him of witchcraft, and that was enough. Why? Because the commission of judges was presided by Jean de Laubardemont, and he was convinced, or he wanted to be convinced, to be more precise, that Urbain Grandier was the culprit of the possessions. And so, Urbain Grandier was offered many times the possibility to die in different ways, but he always refused to confess, and that led him to be set on fire alive. Now, the possessions continued, but slowed down. Their intensity was reduced until Jeanne des Anges had a dramatic illness. She was about to die, and then she recovered miraculously. The stigmata disappeared thanks to the oil of a saint, and she embarked on a tour, pretty much like princess do. She embarked on this tour, which was received by, of course, Cardinal Richelieu and Anne of Austria, before dying in 1642. When she died, she was so important, so relevant in France that people started talking about her becoming a saint. Now, that never happened. I would say rightfully so. That case was probably just a partly conscious, partly unconscious, not to blame her completely, sort of plan devised to eliminate a priest that simply had become more powerful and had offended too many people's ego. And that is the incredible story. So guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you have, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll talk next time. Bye!